out there, flex and rock. When it comes to guys who say they stay ready, it doesn't come any bigger and better than our guest today.
You don't got to get ready if you stay ready. My man right here, they were ready.
Both Eric Nicksick and the main man who saved the 303 card, Dan Ige. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you guys for having us.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Be nice in the building.
listen, you are the man. I mean, I can't even go through my feed without seeing a Dan Ige clip right now.
Yeah.
You are on fire right now, and rightly so, my friend. You have all the flowers. 303, my friend. I was at home watching this, and next thing, you know, John Anik announces Dan Ige stepping in for Brian Ortega on 4 hours' notice.
That was legendary.
Unbelievable, my
It was
friend.
so dope.
As a friend,
Yeah.
as a fan, I mean, listen, bro, there's nothing bigger than having the opportunity and stepping up to the plate, and you've done that.
Thank you.
And am I right in saying when you had the call or the messages, you were having a massage? Just take
Yeah,
us
I
through
want to
this
hear about.
day.
I want to hear about the call and who called.
Yeah, I want to know all this. Let's get back to that day.
So yeah, I mean, okay, let's just wake up Saturday morning, right? It's kind of the end of the week. It's I had a hard week of training. I'm getting ready for a fight in 3 weeks, so I'm kind of tapering down. Saturdays, I usually have about, one good session, one hard session in the morning. So I go in, get a workout in. We do like a sicko Saturday where we just go push hard for 15 minutes, kind of like a fight. And then I did some heat acclimation. So I'm riding in a, call it a heat tent, whatever you want, 104 degrees. I'm riding on the bike 30 minutes, jump in the sauna. Now I'm just, at this point, I'm thinking recovery, right? Get ready for Monday. I usually rest on Sunday. I don't do anything, maybe a walk with the family. But I'm just thinking recovery. So I'm home. I call my massage therapist. She comes by. She works on my kids. So she worked on BAM, on Max. And I'd hop on the table 3 p.m. or so. No word from no calls, nothing. I'm getting ready. I'm probably going to I ordered the pay-per-view already just so my wife doesn't have to finagle with the apps. And so I'm on the table, hour and a half, like deep tissue. Like I would never get a deep tissue massage before a fight too, but I'm getting massage. They got spa music on. Like I'm zenned out, dude. So about an hour 15 in, I'm already flipped over on my back, getting ready for that happy ending. And
And you still got a happy ending.
we'll get there. So my wife comes upstairs and she's like, "Hey, Ali's blowing up my phone. Ali Abdelaziz, and he doesn't even manage me, right? I have a good relationship with Ali. I work with Ali a lot. We talk a lot. But he's blowing up my phone, and it's saying like SOS siren emojis. I'm like, what is it? Dude probably wants like a bank invoice or something. I was like, he could wait. And then she's like, my mom's calling. My mom's calling and said Ali's calling her. He's calling Savannah. I'm like, dude, why are all these people calling? So I grabbed my phone. I opened up my call log. I had about 10 missed calls from Ali, from Hunter. Hunter Campbell was the first person to call me. And he probably called me right around 3:55 p.m., 4 p.m., but I missed the call, right? And as I'm going through all these missed calls, Ali calls again. So I'm on the table, laying there, like, didn't even finish my massage yet. I answered the phone. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "Hey, brother, did you talk to anybody?" I'm like, "No, like I'm getting a massage. Dude, what's going on? How come you're blowing up my phone?" He's like, "Ortega's out." I'm like, "All right. Like, what do you want me to do about it? I don't give a." So he's
Trying to
like,
get this happy ending, bro.
"Yeah." He's like, "Brother, do you want to fight Diego?" So I'm thinking like,
Next week or something.
yeah, next week, or I had like 3 or 4 opponents pull out on July 20th. So
Because that could have been the main event.
yeah,
There's
I'm like,
still not really a good main event, right?
yeah. So that's what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go. He's like, no, brother, tonight. I'm like, for real? Like, for real? Like, this has never been done. So I'm like kind of nervous and excited. And I just say, yeah, let's go. Let's go. I didn't even think it can happen, right? Because it's never. The weigh-ins was yesterday.
Yeah.
How does this even work? He's like, okay, I'll call you back. So I call E. I was like, bro, we might be fighting Diego. He's like, what? Or he's like, okay, cool. When? I'm like, tonight. He's like, what? I'm like,
Whose car we taking?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, exactly. I'm like, Ollie's calling me again. I'm like, I'll call you back. And then Ollie's like, brother, 80-90% this is gonna happen. Pack your bags. I'm like, all right. So I get off the table. I'm butt ass naked. I was like, okay, close your eyes. Tell the chick close her. I run downstairs. I'm like starting to grab shit. I don't even know what to grab. Right. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I was like, I need a cup and a mouthpiece, and I didn't have my cup. So I call E. I was like, bro, grab my cup. This fight's happening, I think. So Ollie calls me back. He's like, what's your weight? I'm like, probably 164, 165. Usually what I weigh about 3 weeks out. So he's like, okay, cool, perfect. He calls me, he hangs up. So I'm getting all my stuff together. I start hydrating, right? Because I was like, if I'm going to fight in 3 hours from now, I better be hydrated. I better get a meal in. I didn't have like anything in the fridge, so I just grab a yogurt, some granola, some honey. I made a shot of espresso. I'm just pounding right now, and I'm nervous. I'm excited, right? And Ali calls me. He's like, "Bro, you're gonna get a contract in your email, and like, just keep checking. You're gonna get a contract." So I go. I'm refreshing my email like every 5 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm calling E. He's like, "Who do you want in your corner?" I'm like, I don't know." He's like, "What about Kai?" I was like, "Done. Call Kai." So E calls Kai. He's like, "Hey, Dan's fighting tonight, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Who else do you want?" I call Gif, who's my other coach. He corners me all my fights. Called him like 5 times. He doesn't answer. I was like, all right, ship sailed.
He was getting his massage and happy ending.
100%. 100%. So he's like, "What about Strickland?" I'm like, "Dude, perfect guy for the job." So call Strickland.
Was he?
Actually, what?
I mean,
Awesome.
yeah, he was awesome to have. He was probably the most nervous guy out of all of us.
100%.
Where was Strickland?
Oh,
I don't know, riding his
He was
fucking
having he was
motorcycle.
having lunch with his girl.
Well, when he took the call, what was he like?
Oh, I just said, I go, same thing. I called him, didn't answer, sent him a text. SOS emergency. Calls back and he goes, "What? Everything good?" Like he goes, "Am I in trouble?" Legit. He's like, "Am I in trouble?
What'd I do?
Who is there a warrant out for my arrest?"
What'd I say now?
And I was like, "No, Ige's fighting tonight." And he goes, "Who?" And I said, "Diego Lopez." I go, "He wants you in the corner." He goes, "What time do you need me there?" I said, we'll get there. We don't need you there right away. So you can come like around 7 if you want." And he goes, "All right." Tell him to let me in through the back gate. I'll be on my bike. I'm like, "Cool."
Strickland pulling in on his bike.
Yeah.
in flip flops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So you arranged everybody.
So I arranged everyone. Boom, I get the contract. I'm like blown. They hooked me up. They gave me good numbers. So I get the bout agreement. I'm looking at it. I don't look at the weight. I just look at the numbers. I'm like, okay, it's good. Boom, sign it. I didn't know it actually had a weight class. So we go there. And by the way, this all had to get approved by the commission. And then the commission had to get it signed off by the governor of Nevada. So this had to, there was a lot of, dude,
Yeah.
it was
A lot of red tape.
yeah, so it was wild. So that text you saw on the screen, that was all, I'm sure that had to that was sent for a purpose, right? Ollie, I'm talking to Ollie and Hunter. They're like, we need this statement from you. You're ready. You're in great shape. Let's go. So I sent that text. Ollie shows up to the house. E shows up to the house. I'm like, dude, I'm driving. Please give me your keys, Ollie, because I don't want to get car sick. E calls Kai Kamaki. He's like, be at Silverado Ranch, Las Vegas Boulevard, in 15 minutes. Be at the Shell station. We're gonna pick you up. Dude, it was like a movie.
Sick.
This is sounds like the town.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Who's
it.
car?
Yeah. Who's car?
Yeah, exactly. So we go pick up Kai, pull up to the T-Mobile. They had a VIP entrance, parking spot for me. Walk in. They take me to the back room. All this like VIP from Mark Wahlberg.
Is that when we saw you walking in the stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
dope.
Jelly roll was there.
The shot of you guys walking in was dope.
Yeah, it was actually
Sick.
he was owning that moment, dude. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
it was-
felt
yeah.
awesome.
It was a moment.
Look at my
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, you walk in confidence, right? Just like, dude, this is it. This is my time to become a legend. That's all I thought. From the beginning when they called me, I was like, this has never been done, dude. This is it's not a money grab's one thing, but this is more than money. This is something more than money
That's what
can
you're
buy.
doing it for.
Yeah. And then like you guys said, stay ready. This is the true definition of stay ready. People will talk about it. People will negotiate themselves out of opportunity. Be like, oh, I want $5 million. And they'll be like, go for yourself. This was more than money. And I earned that legendary status. But yeah, I went to the back room. They're like, official, step on the official scale. They had the commission. I was like, oh, I actually got to weigh in. So I was like, hold on, I'm going to take a piss, come back, boom, 164.5. Thank God. Because I don't know if, had I been over 165, what happens? Does the fight happen? But we made weight, go back, get wrapped up, and it's go time.
It's pretty wild too, because you got to give Diego some credit too, because this dude made weight right the day before as well. And
3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically made 3 different weight classes.
3 weight classes.
Wow.
145, 155, and 165. So that whole fight
Both of you guys had
was bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas. Absolutely
Yeah.
crazy.
No, I credit this kid because this fight wouldn't have happened without him. And 99.9% of fighters are not taking that fight, especially.
They didn't train for you. He has no prep for you.
Nope. Dan's just a stylistically not. I mean, he is a bad matchup for a lot of guys. And look, we're not like calling these guys out by any means, but that name we've asked to fight him numerous times, and on their end they're like, not really the fight we
No, and on a
tough-
full camp, I
yeah.
would love to see that run
100%,
back, because
100%.
I thought you were nullifying him on the feet really well. Like your stand-up game, you were controlling. You know,
Yeah.
he had a little bit of control time on the ground, but I mean, it was a really good fight.
Yeah.
Considering, fights of old and going in, you got a date set, the mentality of that focus date, and then the week and the nerves and everything that goes into it on the media thing. Do you think not having that played a part?
I think a little bit, that's why I had to constantly remind myself. I'm like, dude, well, number one, there's no game plan at this point, because we don't have time to sit and watch tape. And I've seen him fight, so we kind of understand the basics of his game, but I don't have time to sit there and figure out details and look for tendencies. I'm like, dude, I'm going to go out there and trust him the last 15, 20 years of my training and let all that take over and just be in the moment. And, even E was like, right before I walked out, he's like, hey, take a moment, take it all in, take your time, dude. This is awesome, dude. This is what we live for. And that stuck with me as I walked out. I took it all in, lights in my eyes. Like, it was crazy. It was like I was at a rave or something. And I just had to constantly remind myself, anytime I felt any type of stress or like tenseness of like, man, all right, just let it go. Have fun. Even at the end, I was like, yeah, I probably lost, on the scorecards, but the way I finished, I was like, I could be bummed right now, or I could just smile. Just smile and be grateful for this moment, because, again, I became a legend overnight. I mean, literally within hours. I got paid. I got to pay I got to take care of my team. He texted me yesterday. I got to pay him. He's like, dude, you paid me more than you made on your 3rd UFC win. Like,
Yeah.
it was that's a blessing, dude.
Straight up blessing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were ready for it, which is incredible. One thing I'd like to say is, like E in the corner, obviously you had to feel this stress too. Now you gotta fight tonight that you weren't prepared for. Like, what do you do to prep for that, and what do you do to get him ready mentally?
Well, I mean, him and I think are very connected. Our synergy is spot on to where we can read each other's mannerisms, our body language. Like, I can tell if he walks in the room, if he's upset or something's wrong, and vice versa. Like, he walks in the room sometimes like, oh, we're gonna have hard practice today, just by telling one another with the way they read our body language. In that particular fight, like, I always I'm almost too relaxed, right? Because anytime he looks over at me, I want him to feel a sense of calmness, and I look at Coach, and then my nerves get calm. And then I'm over here just cracking jokes and giggling, And
I think you do it really well, because you're able to stay calm in moments, and you're able to fire guys up in moments.
100%. And I think there's a build up to it, right? I like to try to look at us as coaches as like the conductor to an orchestra, right? Like, I'll try to have a build up as that, maybe even the fight goes on, or maybe that particular round. But right then and there, like, going into round 2, like, I looked at him and was like, so what were you doing, bro? You're getting a massage, and just kind of just to cut the tenseness of the situation, the gravity of the situation, where he kind of giggled and like, yeah, I was getting a freaking massage, and like, whatever. And we've done that before.
And every guy's a little different, right? Like, I'm
Every
sure
guy's a little
talking to him, he's like really taking everything in. You're sitting there talking to Sean, and it's like a brick wall sometimes, as I see from an outsider, right?
Yeah, and I'll do that sometimes too, just for me, like, almost to kind of lighten the mood. and then it's almost like a psychological thing too. It's like you're gonna take the mind off of the situation, the gravity of the situation, and then kind of like ease your way back into this. And we got some good reads, after the first round. I really, really trust Kai Kamaka and what he sees, and and Sean had a lot of good reads. So you have two really good guys in the corner. And then Eddie Baracco, credit to him, like he gave me a list of stuff when I was in the car, like on the way there. Eddie sent me a thing of notes, like I'm gonna break down tape while you guys are driving, because it was a fiasco.
Yeah.
And it was like, I called the guys that you trust the most and get the best information that you can. And then we diagnosed what we saw in the first round and then try to implement that going into round 2 and round 3. But I mean, dude, that was our 20th pro fight together. We've done this shit before. It's all about, you and I talk about this all the time. It's like gaining reps. Yeah. And the reps that him and I have had, the amount of fights that we've had, the amount of corner time that we've had together, dude, it didn't matter. We could have done that any day of the week. It wouldn't have mattered.
Seamless.
Yeah, you guys have been in the trenches multiple times. And for you, that's got to be that feeling of complete trust in his guidance and all the team, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be uplifting.
Oh, 100%. And like, I mean, him and I know each other so well. It's like anything he's yelling, I hear everything. I was so in the moment. He's like, same side head kick, boom, it landed. Oh, fuck, he's on my back. Eric's like, my bad, dude. No, it's good. Like, I was just stoked it landed.
It
Dude,
fucking landed.
And it landed, all right.
bro.
I think if it was another round there, that would be in completely
Yeah.
different fight.
Yeah, I was really, range is sometimes it's a hard thing to find within a fight. And round 1 was I was like, all right, he's dangerous. I'm just going to keep, stay composed. Round 2, I started feeling finding my range, landing my shots. Got taken down with that head kick, but I knew I had my range. So going into round 3, I was still confident there. And I was like, okay, now I can start putting the pace on this guy. And I remember hitting in round 3, I hit him with something.
Right hand.
I hit him with the right hand, and the whole entire fight, his eyes were on me. He was focused. I hit him with that right hand. He took his eyes off me, walked back, looked up at the clock, and I was like, oh, he's done, dude. I got him. His spirit, I felt his spirit diminish. And I was like, I just got to go. I got to keep pushing the pace. Anytime he would counter with something, I didn't give him respect.
Great pressure. No, it was really good pressure.
Yeah, no respect there. He tried to take me down, shuck him off, reverse off the cage, get back up. And now it's been a few days, so I'm starting to go in my head like I could have stood up right there and just the ifs and what ifs. But hey, it's done. It's in the books. It's in the past, and here we are.
Yeah, same with me, especially calling for the same side high. You guys got to understand, like, and I'll, as his coach, but like a guy that makes me better in areas of coaching, we'll spend time in the off season, out of camp, and we'll break down possible fights. So if he doesn't have a fight, he'll text me on Sunday or he'll tell me like, hey, what if we fought so-and-so? And then so Sunday I'll watch like a fight or two, and then Monday we'll go to a training session pretending like this is our matchup to work on things. Furthermore, we'll always try and try to find ways to improve on our skill set offensively and or defensively. And one of those things has been his head kicks. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, Diego and his team just crammed in whatever fights they could to watch of Dan, and not one piece of information is going to show Dan throwing the same side head kick. Not one piece of information. So when Dan drop-stepped and drifted into southpaw, and then we had the barrier to where we worked this so many times where we set a trap into the containment of the barrier, I'm like, oh, there it is. And, dude, my eyes got big, and I'm like, this is it. This is the movie scene right here. Same, because we giggle all the time in pads. He's like,
Sweep the leg.
He's like, what if I knock somebody out with the same side head kick? I'm like, I'm going to lose my mind. And the whole scenario ran through my head of like in this half a second going, he's going to knock him out with this head kick. And he threw it, and damn it landed.
I want to say, like, I don't want you to ever feel that guilt, because it was the perfect read. It was the perfect read, and it landed perfectly. That dude's just got a granite block head, and he caught the kick. So, it's like, but he caught it with his head.
Caught it with his head. Like literally caught, like you're never taught to ever catch a kick like this.
No.
Like you want to block the kick. This dude like had his hands like this and like scooped the kick off of his forehead. So I mean, credit to that kid. Yeah. It did land, and I was like, I looked right at Kai in the corner right when and I was like, I just fist, dude. And Kai's like, no, he didn't. Like, we're fine. And like Kai's like talking me back into the fight because I was like, I just fist. Oh man,
Jersey brother.
Jersey brother.
Well, the fight obviously, didn't fall in your favor, but I think you are the winner. I think everybody who was there in that audience, I think it was like over 18,000 people, close to 19,000 people, sold out. And
People's champ.
Everybody was texting me. Everybody was going ballistic, sending me all kinds of reels and stuff as if I hadn't seen it already.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what happened after you walked back to the dressing room.
So we walk back, go to the medical tent. They check me out. My leg's hurting a little bit, right? He did hit me with some nasty leg kicks. I used to believe calf kicks don't work. They work, dude.
They work. Yeah.
my leg was hurting, so we get checked out. Little glue on the nose, and then they're like, "Hey, they want to do media," which they never do. After a loss, usually no one wants to talk to you. They're like, "Media, boom, ESPN, Megan O'Leary," and Eric was like, "I mean, you were there, but my body started like shaking, like convulsing, and I don't know if I was cold or just the adrenaline dump, but like, it's because I was not mentally prepared for all this to happen, but my body was shaking in the back. Then we go in the back in the locker room. They're like, "Hey, more media wants to talk to you." I'm like, "Dude, I need to chill for a moment." So we went back to the locker room, chilled, and we didn't have any plans. Like we ended up we got a driver. They took us home, and Eric and I had like a little glass of whiskey.
Ended up at the Rhino.
We actually, I just kept saying it.
He's like, "Rhino, cut." Eric's like, "Let's go to the Rhino." We end up, we're just at the house, have a glass of whiskey, and said goodnight and
Respect.
go to
What a
church on
day.
Sunday.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's
What a-
when it,
what a
like,
whirlwind.
When we got to the house, like that's when it all hit me of like just the week compiled up, and I'm like, all right, dude, I'm ready to pass the out.
Yeah. It's been a hell of a month for you, man.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was busy. So like and that was just really the icing on the cake was like, Roman took the fight on short notice. He had a 6-day notice fight to fight Anthony Smith,
He looked great too.
And then the week before that, we had Sada Busi, who had a last-minute replacement the day of his fight in Salt Lake. So within the month, we had so many guys from June to the end of the month that fought.
And
Strickland and Puna and Cody Stamen and all these. Kai fought the night before. So Kai fought in Sioux Falls, lands, goes home, drops off his bags, gets a phone call from me, and then pulls up. Like when you saw the video of Kai jumping in the car, he had just gotten home and just flips his shades up with this huge black eye, which is so gangster. And that's legitimately, like, that's how the conversation went down. I said, meet me on the corner of Silverado Ranch and Bermuda in 30 minutes, bring your gear bag. He didn't say, like, he goes, he goes, what do I need? I said, bring your gear bag. And then I hung up. He texts me. He's like, what's going on? I go, I think Dan's fighting. I don't know yet who or whatever. Just be in the corner. He's like, I'll see you there. Like, that's how that went down. Like, it just made me feel so good knowing, like, our group, our guys, off a drop of a hat, dropped everything that they had going on, and we're like,
Love it.
See you there, bud.
It's a testament to how you're pushing the team as well. And like, something I saw you say yesterday, it's like we train to get in the pool and drown people. That's how we're training and pushing ourselves, right? So guys are ready to go at all times, and it's just a testament of that, just this last week even, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's always been our mentality. We've talked about that numerous times about, you don't have the luxury of staying on the side of the shore. You have to be willing to get in the water. You have to be willing to get in the water, but drown-proof yourself. Yeah. And know that I could take this guy down to the depths because we do it every day in our practice, and we vocalize it. We tell each other, I'm going to try to kill our training partners because if we don't give them the best look, then other people are going to try to kill us, right? Like if
dudes walking in off the street into the gym trying to fight you.
That doesn't work out well for a lot
Let's talk about green lighting some guys coming in the gym.
You got it.
We got to talk about this because we were talking about it earlier, and it was like, he's like, does that really happen all the time? I'm like, bro, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you got to ask him about it. So tell us about green lighting dudes in the gym.
Well, you kind of.
I mean, I'm not really the green light guy, but we use Puni Pagoa. He's like our go-to guy. He's a 125er, but this dude's a killer. And anytime someone comes in the gym that wants to fight someone, we sick Puni on him because he's just the young blood coming up. And I've had my green light days coming up as an amateur and a pro, but I'm usually I'm a good I call myself a good training partner, and I usually don't train with randoms. And I always look at sparring too, like false data, because I can't really ever, I don't want to put a guy's lights out. Like, right. I don't get to just knock someone out and go home. Like, if I hurt someone, we got to stand back up and keep fighting and finish out the round. So we just call Puni. Puni puts it on him, and
It's nice when it's Puni because he
seems a little nicer than Strickland, right? Because I've seen Strickland put the screws on a couple of guys.
Yeah, it just depends on the situation, like on how this green light takes place,
Yeah,
so
true.
Certain guys are going to get it. So the green light has evolved over the years. So Jay Haran and Mike Pyle and those guys were the executioners back in the days at Extreme Couture, and they were trying to put your lights out, right? And now the funny thing is, like, Jay Haran in his wise old age is now the voice of reason. He's like, guys, no, can't film it. Don't knock him out to the head. We're like, what?
No touching of the hair or
what,
the face.
Jay? Like
gentleman's KO.
Gentleman's KO, as we call it now. And that's, you can rip as hard as you want to the body or the legs. And that's why we usually use Puni or Kobe Fair. Because Kobe's a different stylistic matchup, nightmare for dudes, because he'll take you down. And to me, there's nothing worse in the world than not being able to get another human being off of you. And this dude just
holding you down
and beating the shit out of you. So Sean has gotten to the point now where it's like, all right, we'll send Puni in for the body shots and this, and then Kobe will take you down and beat the crap out of you. And then Sean will go Instagram live.
Kobe's the 125
smacking you
Strickland.
Yeah, Kobe's the 125 Strickland. Yeah. So, and a lot of this stuff, like, people have to understand, if you're new to the gym and you're coming into the gym, this isn't like we're not trying to hurt anybody. But there's people that will show up to the gym and be like, that guy, I'll smoke that dude, or they're talking shit on Instagram or Twitter, or even worse is if you disrespect the front desk ladies. If you're disrespectful to the front desk ladies and they come back and be like, yo, this dude was a dick, and he was talking to his shit or saying this and that, like, all right, I'll have it. I want my Nazi scalps. Lieutenant
and
Aldo
I want
Ryan.
my scalps.
I want my scalps. And then I'll cash app dudes for green light or for body shot KOs.
No shit.
Oh yeah, I'll cash out Puni. When Chris Curtis was not in the UFC, Chris Curtis used to love to get the cash apps. I'd cash out Chris Curtis all the time.
Did Strickland get the cash app for this Mitch Aguilar yesterday? I seen that.
No, and like, people need to understand, like, Mitch and Sean are actually friends. Like, they've trained together before. They're friends. Mitch has pro fights. The whole banter that started this thing off with Sean and the Navy SEALs was more like Sean and Mitch joking around back and forth, right? And then Sean goes on his and was like, I'll beat any Navy SEAL. So that brought the whole Navy SEAL community in on this thing, when really it was about more like Sean and Mitch. And dude, credit to this guy, Mitch. He shows up and takes a 5-round ass beating, bro.
Yeah, I saw some video, and he definitely looked.
Hey man, that dude at any point could have quit and said, "All right, man, all right, you got me." And that dude took it. Sean wasn't trying to put his lights out. Sean was chopping his legs hard and hitting his body shots hard. And Sean's like, I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to, like, give this guy brain damage, because they are friends.
Yeah.
And man, hats off to Mitch, because he took that 25-minute ass whooping like a man.
I watched it and I was like, okay, I got to do an interview. I went back, did an interview. I came back. He's still beating his ass.
Beating his ass. Beating his ass, bro. So, credit to Mitch. We joke. We don't joke about this, but, like, we take our training very seriously, and we are, I would say a lot of that inspiration comes from Dan's dad. Dan's dad is a Navy SEAL, and we look at our training in the same capacity of, okay, obviously we're not going into things for life and death, but what can we learn from in the way that these men train and operate, and how can we be better amongst ourselves in our training? So, with Tim Ige, and I have friends that are in the community as well, I use those guys as resources on how we can become better. And because of that training, those are the reasons why he's able to pick up the phone and take 4-hour phone calls of going, yeah, I can fight tonight. And I firmly believe it's because of the way
What did my dad call it?
Time sensitive information, something like that.
Yeah.
Who's gonna carry the logs?
No, not even. But
Well, tell us. I already know. Let's get into this. Why do you guys hate on David Goggins, bro? What's the deal?
I don't hate on him at all. I don't hate on Goggins. I think Goggins has a role and has a purpose, and he inspires a lot of people to do great things.
Definitely.
There's no hate from me on that. I hear guys within the community that don't like Goggins because of things that they did with him, on deployments.
Yeah.
Gay stuff?
I wish. But I mean, I wasn't there, and I would never, my opinion about somebody would never be levied on what somebody says. Right? Like I hate J-Rock. Well, hold on. I don't know J-Rock. I've never met him. Why wouldn't I like him?
Dude's really cool.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. But I think within the community, a lot of people misunderstand, like when Goggins went on Rogan and was like, was kind of bashing on the SEAL teams or green team testing and not getting on DevGru and things like that. It's because of this, and this. Well, guys that I know within the community are like, no, he's very skilled in all the things that he did. We just didn't like him. We didn't want to be around the guy for 6 months at a time.
Yeah,
like,
he's
well,
intense.
that's maybe part of the reason why that he didn't get selected. I don't know. I wasn't there, but
I like listening to his stuff. Like I'm a military guy, so
Sure.
like when I hear him, he just reminds me of these dudes as drill instructors and whatnot.
yeah,
But obviously, your dad being a Navy SEAL and having some of these back end stories, like you have probably a little bit of a different perspective.
A little bit. I mean, dude, my dad doesn't tell me much. It's funny because last year in June when I fought, I linked up with my dad, hadn't seen him in years. And Eric was the one, he's like, dude, you should just sit down and have a couple of beers with your dad and, ask him, be like, tell me some stories, to tell my grandkids. So we're smashing some Jameson and I'm like, hey, Dad, you got any stories I could tell Bam?
Yeah, give me some more stories.
He's like, maybe in a couple years.
Oh,
Dude,
because he's still in.
yeah,
like he's still working.
He's like, I mean, what do you want to know? It's like I've been on dozens of missions. It's like, you kill people, like, but what is it? He's like, just put it this way: I've been places you're not supposed to be, and it's pretty much as secretive as that. He's very loyal to the core, and I think that's where like maybe Goggins or guys like that get a lot of hate because they're leveraging the SEAL community.
Trident,
yeah, the Trident. It's like, dude, I had a solar guy come to my house the other day, and he's like trying to sell me solar. He's like, and I was wearing a C4 Foundation shirt. And he's like, oh, dude, I'm a SEAL. Look at my Trident. And then he's trying to leverage. He's like, man, I got integrity because how many times I went to Afghanistan. I'm like, cool, I respect you, but I don't want to buy solar, so please get the fuck off my porch. So I
Respect, but get the fuck off my porch.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll call Sean Strickland.
But I mean, we learn so, like, we have to have people to look up to too.
Right.
And tier 1 operators are the pinnacle.
100%.
They're the
highest
best
performing operations unit in any military force in the world.
So from where we are, and I look at it like this: like, why did Joe Mazzulla call us in the off season, right? From the Boston Celtics. We're not basketball guys. We don't know shit about that stuff. But he's like, I can learn some of these things from what these guys are doing in a different demographic. Yeah. Same thing goes for us. It's like, who are the elite in what they do? That's why him and I hit it off the first time we ever met. It's like, he's an elite at what he does. You don't think I
tell him all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I can learn from him, from what he does, and it doesn't have to apply to bodybuilding. It could just be applied to work ethic. It could be applied to my family mindset. Exactly.
Well, this is why we're all in this room. We all have that same commonality, same moral compass, but yet we're all, different lanes.
100%.
Yeah,
So.
I like to surround myself with gentlemen like yourselves, right? Because that's what pushes me, right? To do great things. It's inspiring to see what he's done. Inspiring to see what you do. Inspiring to see what you do, right? So, like, that's all I want to surround myself with is that kind of energy.
100%. It's that saying. It's like, if you're running track, you're going to run track, and everybody's running fast. We're all going to try to keep up with one another, And that's the honest to God truth. Like, why I even got into MMA. Because you and I were in the bar industry for however long. Yeah. And we had to separate that because it's like, if you fall into that hole, it's like when you get off of work, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to go drink. I'm going to gamble. I'm going to smoke cigarette, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. And that's what you fall into. But when I got into MMA, it was like everybody was doing healthy things and training hard. Positive. And I'm like, okay, this is what I want my life to become. And that's who I surrounded myself with.
Positive addiction.
Exactly.
Eric, you mentioned your relationship with the Boston Celtics coach. Joe Mazzulla. How did that come about?
So Dan and we had a practice. This was during summer league.
Yeah.
It was last summer.
Saturday.
I get a call from Dr. Duncan over the UFC PI, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I share your contact to Joe Mazzulla?" And I one of those like where I kind of like, wait, Joe Mazzulla from the Celtics? He's like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, dude, no problem. So then I get a text from Joe, and it said, "Hey, I'm in town from here to here. Would love to be able to just sit down and meet up and just pick your brain on some things." And I was like, you say it, bro. Anytime you call it out. And I go, I would suggest if you want to come into sparring, to come watch the guys spar. And he goes, I'll be there. So I show up, walk in the office. Sam Cassell is sitting in the front lobby. Who, I'm a big Florida State guy, and Sam Cassell is a Florida State alum. I'm like, holy shit, Sam Cassell. So I start chopping up with him. Joe Mazzulla shows up. He hangs out with us for basically all of pro practice.
Yeah.
And we're cornering rounds like we would at sparring. I introduced him to Dan, to Brad, to Boston Salmon, to a bunch of the boys on the team. I think Coach Giff was there.
Mm-hmm.
These are all like Boston fans as well, Celtic fans. And then he's like, if you have any time, can you hang out with us in the office? So the three of us, I think 4 of us, we sat in the office for like an hour.
Hours, dude.
Yeah. And we just talked and talked about, what's it like running a team the way that we have, and how does coaching work within the corner? How do you delegate time for the other guys? How do you grab attention for, and all the right questions.
A true coach's coach.
A true coach's coach. But what I really was inspired by was this man was going to find any way possible to become better.
Yeah.
He felt like he let his team down the last in the playoffs. They lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, and a lot of that blame was put on Coach Joe. And he's like, dude, I don't give a what it takes. I'm going to find ways to become a better coach, a better person, a better human being. He's a man of faith. The dude works his ass off in every capacity that I've ever seen, and we really hit it off. And I told him before he left, I'm like, this is still like, I understand how busy you are, but I go, bro, my phone will always be on. Like, if you need something, call me, whatever. But I wanted to make a conscious effort to stay in contact with him during the season. So, bro, I'd shoot him a text like once a week. Hey, checking in on how are you? He would shoot me a text after a fight. Yo, dope fight. That was great. How's so-and-so? Anytime I asked him a question about how he's doing, he would always respond back to like something about Dan or Brad or one of the boys on the team. Never really respond about the basketball stuff. It was like, dude, that fight with Strickland was sick, because he's an MMA guy. He's a big fan, So it was very organic. And then, we FaceTimed with him on Monday.
Yeah.
It was his birthday, and we talked.
I saw him at the fight in
Yeah.
the 3rd round. I looked up. I was like, what's up, coach? I'm like,
He was.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, shit, head back in the game. Get back in the game.
Wow.
Yeah, he was sitting right behind us in the blue corner. So when Roman fought, I got on the apron. They're announcing the guys, and I looked back. I saw Coach Joe. I gave Roman his water, and then I hopped off and ran back to give Joe and his wife a hug and say what's up, because I knew that there wasn't a chance. I may be only going to see him for this brief amount of time. So I knew when Anthony Smith was walking out and Roman was taken care of, I had like maybe a minute to spend with Coach Joe. So that's it was important to be able to give him a hug.
What's crazy is that first day when you introduced us, like, I mean, I don't really follow any other sports other than fighting, and Sam Cassell was there. I didn't know Sam Cassell, Joe Mazzulla. I thought Sam Cassell was the head coach. I thought that was Joe Mazzulla. And I'm like, I was talking to Mazzulla for over an hour, had no clue it was him, and I was like, I thought he was just like an intern. I was like, dude, this guy's smart, dude. He wants to learn. He was picking my brain, just asking like about the mental coaching, adjustments, camps, and I was like, I like this guy. Yeah. Who's this guy?
Who's
like,
this kid?
Keep at it.
This
keep
is
at
the
it.
head coach. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You keep at it, and you'll make it someday.
No, he's young, man. And I think that's where you have to give him credit, is like your team's going to follow your lead on things like that. Like, look, I didn't fight professionally, but I give my team everything, every piece of resource that I have.
Yeah.
So they see like, okay, he's studying, he's training, he's working, he's doing all these things. Okay, he might not have been a pro fighter, but he's doing his fucking best to be the best coach for us, right? And that's what I saw from Joe right away. What I gravitated to is This dude's going to spare no expense. He's going to leave no leaf unturned. Like
Crumbs.
this, exactly. No crumbs behind. And that's what I respect about the guy. And I was never a Boston Celtics fan. I'm a Joe Mazzulla fan through and through. So wherever that dude goes, he's going to be my guy for forever.
Yeah. It's a good point. Like, the cross, how the sports and it's the mentality that's the same, right? Like, as prepping for a show, like your mental game, and you can take things from other athletes, right? Other people who have pushed themselves past their limits, right? And so all those kind of connect in that way. I've noticed that, and obviously sports with fighting, bodybuilding and other, you got guys in there. Utilize Kobe Bryant as an example, the Mamba mentality that transfers into every single sport or even your business or your life, right?
100%.
See,
That's pretty cool.
Sorry, but my mentality when I was living in Florida, I surrounded myself with fighters, as you know. I had, back then it was...
Spong.
Yeah, Spong. He called me up the other day. Obviously, my boy Rumble Johnson. Who else was there during that? Rashad Evans.
Yep.
There was a multitude of different savages who, even Usman. Usman just came out of college to join. What was Jacko?
Yeah.
That's what it was back then, Jacko. And that was Henry
Black
Hoover's.
Zillions.
Black Zillions.
Yep.
I was there doing for all that time. I was down for the Black Zillions until I met Eric, of course.
Yeah, no. we're down with him too.
Yeah.
Henry's my guy.
I remember that time it was Black Zillions versus ATT, and I had to choose my hat wisely.
Yeah.
And then my brother ended up being the strength and conditioning coach for ATT. So that was a fun time, to be truthfully honest. But that was for me as the Mr. Olympia at the time. I loved being around fighters because that mentality was something I wasn't used to. And I used to home in that knowledge just like Coach Joe and you having that conversation. It's like, what can I learn from fighters that I've already know in my space, but what can I learn from these guys in a different space that I can put into my daily step? Is there any sports that, I know you kind of said you don't follow much sports, but is there any athletes then that you kind of look at and go, man, I love what he does, and not that I would try to want to be like him, but I want to take characteristics from that athlete?
Honestly, a little bit of everything. Like I don't hone in and watch a lot of sports, but you got like the mama mentality. I listen to a lot of like, even like the have you ever heard of the inner game of tennis?
No.
These guys are so like I'll study the mind just of these tennis players, high level tennis players, because you have to be in the moment, right? You got a ball coming at you back and forth.
103.
Yeah, it's going so fast, and like you're not thinking. It's be in the moment. Listen to the sound of the ball spinning, the pound off the racket, the squeaking of the courts. Like this is very in the moment type of sport. So I study that, just like the psychology of it. And then obviously you got like the mindset, like a, mamba mentality. Like I love it. A guy like Tom Brady, who was never, I look at the GOATs, right? My man over here, Flex Lewis. Like I just try to study the GOATs and take little bits and pieces of information and how can I apply it? How can I apply it to me without changing who I am? Because I did that too. And I learned by mistake by like, I'll talk to someone like Kamaru Usman or Khabib, but Cejudo, and they all have these different philosophies, and I'm like trying to like force it, and I'm like trying to be this guy. I'm like, dude, I can't take all these little bits and pieces because they don't collaborate together. It doesn't work, So how can I just form my mind and then truly believe in what I have and who I am? And I think over the years, that's where I've really gotten better at. It's just believing in myself, and not saying don't listen to anyone, but believe in myself, believe in my team, and kind of everyone, everyone's opinion. I
want to ask you the same question, Coach. What about yourself?
As far as athletes go,
coaches, athletes. Obviously, you mentioned Joe.
I think coming from a football background, I've always like followed like Nick Saban. The ones that I've had a lasting effect on me are always going to be my dad and my uncle because of firsthand, acquaintances of like, these are the things that they've taught me or instilled in me. And then, athlete wise, I think you got to look at like guys like Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. And again, like what Dan's saying, to me, it was more about understanding the work ethic. What made them tick? Okay, guys at the highest level, I'm going to use you for an example. You've won how many in a row?
21.
Okay. how does that motivation stay the same? And this is what, to me, made the greats the best, the elite, was they weren't okay with getting caught up. They weren't okay with somebody catching up to them. So they always found ways to evolve or become better in areas that maybe, okay, LeBron, my free throw shooting can be better. So what do I spend more time on the offseason doing? Developing that. They're not trying to get caught. They're trying to lap the next guy or the next group of guys coming up. And that, to me, like the Tom Brady's of the world, it's like, I'm the GOAT, but if I let my guard down, then people are going to catch up to me. Mm-hmm. So this work ethic and all these things that I've done is here right now, but now this next crop of guys are going to try to catch me. So I actually got to double my workload. I'm going to wake up earlier. I'm going to get better just because of that mentality of like, no way do I want to get caught. So I think when it comes for us for MMA, we started finding other ways of details to coach, right? Like we corner different because of the reps that we have. My language is different in the corner because of what the judges might hear me say, right? It's not just X's and O's. We prep for things in the room of like, hey, when we get up off of these grappling situations, we're going to shadow box in between these rounds. Oh, that's just cardio. No, it's not cardio. What I'm trying to do is build body language. Mm-hmm. So the moment we get up off the ground, you see my guys bounce, right? And they're like, oh, this guy looks like he's in shape and he's ready to go. We're all tired. Everybody's tired in the room. But what message are we delivering? Are we giving off? So there's so many areas that we can coach that I think people overlook that I feel, me personally, that I feel I have an edge on because I try to stay open-minded and find areas of improvement. And then furthermore, man, talk to the people around you. Like I have great resources. I have Randy Couture, one of the best mentors and resources in the world, that I'll pick up the phone and I can call and just have an honest, open conversation. And he'll tell me things like, hey, don't forget about X, Y, and Z, because all of us get tunnel vision and we our sight's set on the target. But when you're a sniper, you always have your spotter. Yep. You got the guy sitting next to you looking at the overall landscape of things. So having those resources are important.
Second set of eyes.
Second set of eyes. Yeah. You know, and him and I, bro, and we do this all the time. It's a checks and balances. Hey, what do you think I can be better in? Or if I need an actual resource to tell me something, I'm gonna go to Dan, or I'm gonna go to you, or I'm gonna go to you. Hey, was I wrong in this situation? Right? There's a saying that says, I love you too much to leave you the way that you are. Right? A lot of your friends will just tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. So surround yourself with that'll be like, yo, bro.
Call you out on your shit.
Call you out on your shit. Hey, man.
Come to church.
Yeah, my guy. He got me in. He got me into church. I invited Flex too.
Yeah, you did. You did. I got Dan's barber chasing me all the time every Sunday too. Oh boy, Dan. Yeah. He's where you at, Flex?
Knocking out guys. Knocking out guys.
When I walk in, we're gonna start like burning.
My bro.
Knocking out guys on Saturday, blessing guys.
That's
on
some crazy stuff, but not that shit. But it kind of threw me off then. I was so intrigued with what you were saying. And it kind of made me think about fighters on the path to stardom. Okay, how, as a coach, you know, when you get these guys in, they're all coming in different levels, right? Maybe you got somebody that's just, you know, been with you for a number of years and now he has that fight. The next thing, he's skyrocketed, all eyes on him. You know, let's look at Dan, right? Obviously, we know Dan, it's not his persona, but if another fighter had that opportunity and it goes to his head, as a coach, what kind of things do you do, preventative measures, to kind of be like, hey, listen, you're getting caught up in the sauce? Because we can name names who have won belts and, you know, we're up at 5 a.m. running in for that. And when they get it, it's like, you know, you're invited to nightclubs, you're getting paid to do this, you're doing that. And they're all distractions.
Getting laid.
Yeah. How, to your point, how as a coach do you able to kind of get that guy back down to level, to be like, hey, listen, we've got a job to do. Don't get caught up in all this extracurricular stuff.
Well, what are your goals? What was your purpose of getting into this sport? And we reinvent our goals or reestablish goals all the time. And a lot of that, to me, like let's use Conor McGregor for an example, right? I think he's a great example. His motivation was to be two-time champ or one of the best to ever do it. But then when your motivation starts to change because
silk pajamas, waking up in them silk pajamas.
You start waking up in silk pajamas. Well, what am I doing this for? So your goals have to be reassessed. And maybe it's not to be the greatest in the world. Maybe it's, I want to make more money, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. I think you have to be honest with yourself as an athlete and even as a coach. It's like motives change. Your motives are going to change. So those goals have to be reassessed time and time again to where, when we first started, our goals are still very similar to where we're at today. He's not moved by money. That's not what he's moved by. What his successes are a byproduct now, or the money's a byproduct of his successes. I said it wrong, right? So like that climb is still there. That drive is still there. We haven't had gold wrapped around our waist, although that is always going to be in our sights and what we want to accomplish, right? So when certain guys come in and you can see their celebrity and this, the other side of that, man, is I feel like the gym is its own entity. The guys in the room, the team, they'll bring your ass right back down pretty freaking quick, because Sean Strickland will come in the room and he's a celebrity, bro. Like, he's a celebrity, not in the gym. Not in our room. Like, you don't give a if he's late, it's yes sir, no sir.
Yeah.
I'm on his ass just as like I would be anybody else. So I think treating people the same, but understanding their motives and what their goals are, and those things are always changing no matter what. But at the end of the day, man, I'm pushing for greatness with my guys, and if those motives change, I'm probably out the door.
J-Rock.
Well, no, it's a good point. I mean, and obviously Francis, right, one of your fighters, just went through some, personal tragedy and obviously, really crazy, tough time. I see you guys are back training again, and you're, this has got to be, something that's just incredibly hard for him and getting him back in there now into the ring. And, what do you guys have planned? Are you trying to get him back moving again, or what's that look like?
Honestly, that was kind of just the situation I wanted the most, was just to get him back in the room.
Yeah.
And I want him to heal. That's all. Mm-hmm. And I think, like we said earlier, the gym is its own entity. It's its own like fountain of youth, if you will. And seeing him walk in the room and seeing the reception that he got from the guys and the team, and then seeing his smile on his face again and how he feels, that's just one little baby step towards healing. And like on Monday he came in and he said, it's been a rough week. And he's going to have that. He's going to have those rough weeks. And he goes, and I know why, because what did he do on Saturday and Sunday? He probably sat around or didn't have a whole lot going on. So knowing Francis as well as I do, like during COVID, he was depressed a lot. And that's when he kind of became part of the family, because we would just have him come to the house and spend time with us. So here he is with this loss in his life, and he's sitting around at home. Doesn't have a whole lot going on Saturday and Sunday. That's when probably the depression hits. Monday he comes in and he has a great practice, and then now throughout the rest of the week he's around the boys, he's around the team. He has a sense of purpose. He's getting the job done. And whether he decides to fight ever again, it's going to be completely up to him. But being in the room and training is a step in the right direction, not only to fight again, but to heal that heart.
Yeah, just his mental mindset, just to get in there and be around the boys, right?
That's right.
Be around the family, Wolfpack.
How long is he here for, Eric?
He'll be here till like the end of July, and then I think he has to go back home due to his visa obligations. And then, depending on what he wants to do, we're going to sit down and kind of figure out, is he going to come back home? Is he going to try to do a training camp? Are we going to fight? When are we going to fight? And then all those things, we'll have to figure that out.
He's got so much options too.
100%.
Be back to boxing or back, in the MMA world. And
I'd still love to see him come back and fight John Jones.
I think everybody does.
Everybody,
right?
100%.
I think everybody does. But that John Jones list is adding up now with,
it is. Aspinall.
Aspinall,
Pereira.
Yep. There's so many names being thrown in the mix. I think John Jones will never be able to retire. And when he does, they're like, there's going to be another guy. And I know that feeling too. As soon as you retire, all these guys come out and call your ass out. And talking about what's next, what do you want next? I hear Dana White saying that, if these guys wanted to fight in the Sphere, is that something you want, Dan?
100%. I think that Sphere is going to be insane. I've
Can't
never
wait,
been
can't
there,
wait for
but
that thing.
Oh, it's incredible.
It looks sick, dude. I mean, the amount of eyeballs too that are going to be on that's the biggest reason. You know, I want to go on there and fight, and
Biggest event of the year, right? So
the
it's
biggest event of the year.
Yeah,
It's going to be hard to top 303.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Through that.
the circumstances of that is insane, but the sphere is going to be incredible.
Earn that spot at the Sphere, right? I think
Yeah.
I saw Dana was on like, you know what? Let's put both these guys on at the Sphere
Yeah.
for that fight, which earns your spot, dude. It's great.
Yeah. So I mean, I believe Dana's a man of his word. I even tweeted today I'm fighting Ryan Garcia at the Sphere. He said, let's go at the Sphere.
Let's get it going. We heard it here first, guys.
Is that something you're interested in doing?
What is that?
The fight between yourself and Ryan Garcia? Would that be something you're interested
Or
in
any
doing?
crossover, right?
Dude, I mean, I'm all about it, dude. Whatever it brings, shoot, it's gonna put money in my pockets. But if he wants to come to the UFC, we're about the same weight class. He could take all the what do you take? Ostarine.
Oh, man. I love how he looks at me when fucking you said,
what
hey,
did
what did he
what
take?
was
Flex?
that?
Fuck, I don't fucking know. But Dan, that's got to be kind of, now with all the eyes on you, there's the celebrity fights and
Right.
everybody's calling each other out. Has anybody called you out?
No, I don't think I've ever been called out. Like, really, you know?
Oh, Brito.
Oh, besides Brito, motherfuck Dan Ige.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you could fight anybody, and I mean like a celebrity, another fighter from the past, could be dead or alive, who would you fight?
At the Sphere.
No, anybody, just
Like in the backyard.
in the anywhere, right? Like if
4
there's
hours
one
notice.
person
on 4
that
hours.
you're like,
on 3 hours.
I'd love to fight this dude. Like maybe it's Bruce Lee, I don't know, right? For you, but
Let's do both dead and alive.
Alex.
Yeah, dead and alive.
Volkanovski. I
Volkanovski.
think he's one of the goats. I mean, he was last year. He was pound for pound #1. He had a few KO losses, but dude, he's still one of the best in the
Yeah.
world. And that's what I want. Dude.
I was gonna say you and BJ Penn would toss it up real nice. A couple Hawaiian boys, cuz.
I don't want to do that to my uncle.
He's trying to stir the pot, yeah, with all the Hawaiians. Listen, Dan, I think, suffice to say, mate, we had this conversation actually at Extreme when my daughter was in jiu-jitsu, and you had just finished practice, and I'd seen you probably the first time I'd seen you for a while.
Yeah.
I said, bro, you're looking great. And obviously this guy, no, you're looking great. I go, Dan, I've torn tricep, but thank you very much, Mr. Nice Guy over here.
Muscular.
One arm. So he's like, obviously I've got the fight coming up, and this was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I said, bro, you look ready. He goes, Flex, I'm always ready. And suffice to say, a lot of people have said that to me. You know, I'm always ready. You know, you hear it more than me in that world of fighting. But you truly lived up to that, my friend. And,
Thank you.
and when I seen you walking out, as I said in the beginning of the episode, man, I was sitting on the couch. I think my son was sitting on my lap. He went flying. I was, oh my God, goosebumps on my arm. I was like, picking him up. I went ballistic. And then that text popped up. This is something I didn't talk about in the episode. And I looked at the time of the text. It was 4 p.m. And it was like 6:30 when I was watching the fight. And you guys, about 6:30, 7 o'clock when you're walking in.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
still getting done with his happy ending.
I was like, unbelievable, mate. That mindset, the mindset shift from being totally in Zen
Yeah.
to then being in the octagon, 19,000 people screaming your name at the end. And that speech at the end, mate, got me riled up.
4 hours.
Go, hey, give us the soundbite, bro. Let's go.
I can't do it. 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 hours. Doesn't matter. Dude, I was pumped up, man. It's truly a blessing from God. And this whole thing, this whole training camp has been a true test of my faith, losing how many opponents and just believing, there's something better in store. There's something better in store. And I didn't know what it was till I woke up on that table and was saying, you're fighting tonight. So,
Yeah, man.
Sick.
Well, if you weren't on the Dan Ige train before,
shit.
get on it. Let's go. There we go.
Sure.
I was going to rip my shirt off there, but Taya said I can't move. But
You get one of those for me, bro?
I went to the store and bought it like a good friend.
I'm dropping new merch right now. It's live.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I want to push and promote you guys. So on that note, what have we got going on?
We got 2 shirts right now. I got a third one coming out. If you go to shopdanige.com, it's got the 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 hours, doesn't matter. It's got the font on there, and it's got me walking in my house slippers, holding my coffee, walking into the arena. Just some merch for the fans.
Yeah,
Love it.
on
Burn the boats.
yeah.
Let's talk about it.
on
Versus us.
My man to the left here, you just started up an epic podcast, my friend. I
Yeah.
want to give you the flowers to that, my
Well,
friend. Let's talk about that.
Thankful for you because you gave me a little space to do it, in the lair.
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we just kind of started on the heels of just these epic stories like this, like these experiences that we have with these fighters, meeting great people within the industry, great friends, and more just kind of inspired by like how you and I sit down and chop these stuff up. And these stories, I think, need to be told. The behind the scenes, the fans are predicated to seeing a lot of what happens in the cage, but what leads up to those things. So, unfortunately, we filmed one here, Dan and I, last week or 2 weeks ago, and that's going to be a little bit outdated. So we're going to have to film another one again. But there's a lot of good information on for the fans to understand Dan and myself and how we got to be where we're at today. That was our 20th pro fight together, but there's a lot of history in between those fights. Like, we had the moment yesterday where, he pays me this huge amount of money and we're walking and I just give him this big old hug. It's like, man, 8 years we've crammed so many great memories in together in this time, and then we have so many more to go. So that's what kind of the podcast is predicated on, is just these adventures together with this, spending some time with some great friends. And
I love you.
I love you, Dad. And going
Love
out,
you, Dad.
going out, and, winning some big fights and doing some fun shit. So we've got a lot of good stories, and I just want the fans to kind of hear them.
A lot of fighter stories, a lot of other stories too. I watched the first episode. Congratulations.
Thank you,
on
brother.
that, mate. And it's not just fighting, right? I just want to clarify that. It's a lot of different.
Yeah, and like I didn't want to get into like breakdowns of like, oh, this week we have so and so. Yes, of course. Like if there's a big fight coming up, people want to know what my thoughts are on breaking down, John Jones versus Aspinall or whatever it may be, right? Like we'll break some stuff down. But moreover, what I would love to do is be able to say, hey, Dan, come sit down. We're going to talk about Mirsad Bektik camp. And that's it. And we're going to talk about the corner. And we're going to talk about this and, some of the stuff that we've been through. And Brad Tavares, I've been with Brad for 15 years now. So Brad's going to sit down on the couch and we're going to rap and we're going to talk about some, fun road trip stuff. And, Ray Cepho, when it's like having Ray in the room. So I want to.
The name, dude.
What's that?
I love the
us.
name.
Yeah,
the name's great.
Verse us,
Verse us.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
And that's what it was this weekend, right?
Yep.
It's,
It sure
it's
was.
the team. And I said, it is a movie. And it reminds me so much like a spin-off from The Town. That's the movie, right? It's like, my car or yours?
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It
that's
was.
what Eric, right, calling these people up. It's like, I'll be there at this time, at this venue, at this spot. And
It's like a high school fight. Like when
Yeah.
we used to fight in high school, it'd be
Yep.
like, yo, meet me here, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna go stomp these dudes out.
Yeah.
Put on
100%.
Tupac.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not much information, just place, time, something's kicking off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it, right?
I just love like how much credit like the team gets for that, because it was like, here's Kai Kamaka fresh off of a win, PFL, fresh off the plane, Ali doing such a great job behind the scenes making this happen. You got Sean Strickland, you got Eddie Baracco, who's watching tape and putting this down for like a lot of things had to come together really to make this whole thing work, and even like Jeff Mullen calling me, he's like, can your guy fight right now? Is this even possible? I'm like, yeah, it's possible. I was like, if there's anybody in the world that can do it, it's this dude right here. And I go, I would never put my fighter in harm's way. I would never put my fighter in harm's way. And I'm telling you right now, when Dan called, this wasn't, hey, what do you think? This was, yo, we're going. And I'm like, let's go, dude.
Yeah. Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Dan, any parting words for the fans? That's your camera right there, my friend.
No, I just want to say thank you guys so much. I love you all. And thank you, Flex. Thank you, J-Rock. E, I love you. I appreciate you guys.
Wow, guys, what an episode. And fresh off 303, I mean, listen, he's still smoldering, right? He's so hot right now.
What's happening tonight?
Nice scrap cut.
We'll keep that off camera. But anyway, that's straight over there. Flex and Rock. Eric Nicksick on the man of the hour. My man, Dan Ige. We are out.